Hey loves, this is Ja with emotional intelligence. So, I use this word quite often and I know I get a lot of people like, "Huh? What's that mean?" Homo-socialism. Homo-socialism is this cool little thing that no one realized they've been indoctrinated to their entire lives. Now, let me say this statement and I'm saying it very boldly. All men are raised gay. What does that mean? I ain't gay. I ain't gay. Okay, well, that's the point. Think about it. As a little boy, everyone knew that I was gay based on what they said were my gestures and how I talked and how I liked certain things. Great. But why is it that men are taught to look for these signs in young boys? Why is it that society teaches you, uh, don't do that, that's gay. Don't do that, that's gay. If you wear that, that's gay. If you say that, that's gay. I've never met any gay man who talks about being gay as much as a straight man. You can't clip. I've actually had a man tell me clipping his nails made him feel gay. Are you serious? I've had grown men tell me putting on lotion makes them feel gay. What I look like moisturizing myself. Are you serious, motherfucker? Really? This is something that's been conditioned into us to forget who we are, to not love ourselves, to think for one half of our mind and not the other half, to only think from this end to that end, and I'm this and you're that, and that's all we're meant to be. In order to break homophobia, in order to teach self love, you have to recognize that all men deserve to love themselves sensually and appreciate their body and appreciate themselves and appreciate another man's body and appreciate what he does for himself without it being a sexual thing. Now, here's what I've said to many of men who always question me. Oh, well, why are you gay? How are you gay? You know, love, anyone I've ever met who is not gay never asks questions about being gay. When I've met someone who is just keeps asking questions, that's a curiosity to me that's beyond you trying to understand my life. That's something that you're trying to make applicable to yourself. Now, I get this a lot. Joanna, you're so confident in yourself. You don't even care if anyone knows you're gay. I'm 6'4". No one's going to bother me. But the sad part of this goes back to homo-socialism, which is within the groups of the beta, the alpha, and the omega. It is based on size and stature. It has nothing to do with actual intelligence. But the omega has figured out that it is about size and intelligence and wisdom to take forth to the next level, to have a prideful pack that knows how to survive. What's happened throughout history is we've let the beta man feel inferior. So then they go back and they abuse everything in society and they say, well, I'm intelligent and I'm book smart. That is an insult to intelligent men. Being intelligent doesn't mean that you're weak, and being out in the fields doesn't make you any stronger because you can lift something. That makes you a work mule, honey. So take these things into consideration when you hear someone saying, men don't do that. Well, what do men do? I'm just saying, no, explain it to me. What do men do? With all due respect, I was talking to a gentleman online and I have my picture with the floral gown that I have, where it's like a robe. And he said, well, until I talked to you, I liked all your other pictures, but that first one I didn't like too much. And I could have took that as a personal attack on my character. But I love myself enough to know, and I have so much clarity and wisdom in my confidence that that could never break me. What I heard was, I'm not out. I'm not conditionally comfortable with being what I would consider being ostracized from my tribe because I have yet to step outside of conditioning beyond my training. Let me say that again. I have yet to step outside of my conditioning beyond my training. What you like is what you like. I like strawberries. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing. But there's people who will walk around and talk about, oh my God, they like strawberries? They like strawberries? Oh my God, can you believe they like strawberries? Okay. We get to a point in life where you have to recognize that you wipe your own ass now, but you will not be able to later. So, conditionally thinking about what someone else puts in it is probably not most of your concern. I say this because as I step back out into the dating world, I'm starting to realize that the emotional intelligence, there's that key word, is lacking within the discovery of ourselves. We've gotten so good at the templates, what to say, what to do, what not to say, how to look, how to act, how to pose. But we're not recognizing what is the applied intent behind all these actions. There is power behind some of those things, but you have to remember it's like giving a huge sword to a small child or somebody who can't handle it. If you can't lift the sword to yield the sword, then honey, no, you ain't ready. But there's a lot of little boys running around with big old swords and they ain't ready. They ain't ready. But they think that that makes them a man. They think that that's their power because through Homo-socialism, we have taught men it doesn't matter if you're intelligent, if you're loving, if you're kind. If you got a big stick and everybody wants to be around you, then that's all that matters. And then you have weak-willed men who go out into the world and they impregnate these women. And then these women, they don't know because then they're trained through a man who grew up the same way and then they freaking neglect their kids and then they talk the same way to them. That's gay. Don't do that shit. You a man. You a boy. You're man up. Did you just tell a 3-year-old to man up? He ain't even got pubic hair yet. But you're telling him to man up because he's crying. I've seen women do this more to their children than the actual men do, which makes it even sadder. So when we break this paradigm of battered emotions to battered wounds to battered scars, we will stop this triangulation of being beaten down by society telling us not to fully express ourselves. It does not matter if you are a sensitive man. It doesn't matter if you're a flamboyant man. It doesn't matter if you're a gay man, a trans man, a bi man. None of that matters if you are not instinctually in tune with how to carry yourself and how to find the respect within who you are. Because people will always find a way to demonize you. They will always find a way to ostracize you if it makes them look better. I have stood alone by myself for many years saying, I don't give a fuck because I mean that. I am in the middle of the country where most people see a huge, or at least what they would think would be huge inflation in hate crimes. It's actually more welcoming in the Midwest because there's more families. And yeah, it's hidden and it's not talked about, but there's a more of a family orientation behind it than I've seen in major cities where I'm out and proud that I am who I am. When actually you're putting on a front of an act of a person that you don't want to be. You're dressing more like I'm a bro. I'm a gay bro. Yeah, no feminine, no sissies. But then you get into the bedroom and like, yeah, toot that ass up, spank it, daddy. I've seen that happen. So this is the point of you. Look, honey, it don't matter if it got a twang in my voice or I talk deep. I'm still gay. And anytime someone goes out of their way to make that known to me, then I have to question them and say, have you made that known to you? Because through Homo-socialism, we have learned to not listen to our own emotions and we have learned to not love ourselves. I have been by myself where I was doing literally just standing there doing something. I was like, ooh, that feels gay. And I'm like, to who? Nigga, you gay. So there's no getting around that. There's no fighting that. So for me to hide that part of me that is so intangibly me, then I love being able to exude that to the tangible. And I love being able to express that. And what I've actually learned is, believe it or not, the things that I do for myself that seem feminine to someone else has actually helped other people say, you know what? I can see the light in me because I see the light in you. I have more females who come up to me and say, you know what, you carry yourself in a way that I wish I could because I don't know how to say no to him. I don't know how to say no to good dick. I don't know how to say no. And I'm like, honey, I can teach you. Because the one thing that most men do not appreciate is being told no. There's across the board, most people don't like to be told no. Men, women, across the board. But in generally, or in particular, men do not like to be told no. Because being told no means you lost. And if you lost, then nothing else matters, and you have to find a way to win. And who are you winning for? Not for her, not for you. You're doing it for the homo-socialized society that tells you, you gonna get punked out like that? Oh no, you better go get her back and you better like make her feel crappy and cheat on her and do all this stuff. That's what a child does. That's what the beta man does. Grown man be like, hey, you know, she was right about that. I'm right about this. But the point is that I can see the reflection of what I need to see versus me turning it onto them and becoming something that it's not. This is how we start healing those relationships between the male female dynamic. Because again, all of this has begun in my mind. I have watched so many societies constantly change over and over and over and over and over based alone on gay culture. Think about religion. Think about laws that are made. Think about half the things that are sexualized just around the things that gay culture has brought. I mean, it's always been around, honey. But until gay people start saying, yes, honey, twerking's okay. Let's do it everywhere. Oh, until then, you called her a hoe. You called her a slut. That was mad. But then gay culture's like, no, honey, twerking's great. Let's do it. We all love it. Then everybody's like, oh, I could do it too. Now it's fun. Let me try it. I think I want to do it because twerking was in the strip clubs at first and that was not popularized. The point I'm trying to make is that that was something that females and gay men and other people of like had done naturally. And it was hidden for those who didn't want to live outside of the social norm of enjoying the body, enjoying themselves, understanding that every time you get a boner, it doesn't mean you're horny. Every time that something tweaks your interest, it doesn't mean you're horny. But that's what men have been taught. So they hypersexualize, they hypersensualize, and then they go off and they disrespect themselves and others. And through that process, it becomes a general norm to start with abusing gay men first. I say this because I stand up for everyone. I have never, ever, ever had a man approach me and try to fight me. Why? Because men don't do that. It's always about alpha, beta, omega. And if they feel that they can bully you, take control of you, they would do so. Now, this is not an attack on straight men. This is not an attack on anyone. This is an understanding that this is the world that I had to grow up in. I had to learn how to cipher through someone else's miseducation, through the history of hate, through that conditioning of not understanding that people are not bad because they're not like you. You know what I mean? And that inherently has become something that has been socialized within, even in the female world. Don't get me, I'm not just focused on the men. Homosocialization starts in female world too, where you got to do this and you have to be this type of woman. You can't dress like this and can't be like this. And I was talking to a friend of mine and like we were simply talking about an artist, a music artist, and they were like, "Oh, I don't like them. They're so trashy and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Actually, that's a street hustler." I was like, "They're talking about dick as much as a man talk about pussy. But you're saying that she needs to be a proper lady and it's okay, but he can talk that way. And then you make her feel bad about her body, which internalizes her sexuality. And then she turns that back on her children and then internalizes their sexuality. And then society itself has already decided what a man and a woman is. So they're really going to destroy who you think you are and your character. Don't let this happen to you. We are done with character assassinations going into 2020. If somebody does not understand you, know you, like you, or comprehend you, it is not your job to teach them, explain to them, or coddle them. You can simply say, huh, and walk away. But there are times when you can help people learn and that you can bring light to a situation. So all of this started with me saying that men in general are raised gay. That statement came down to me thinking out loud, why do I feel guilty about my gayness? Why do I feel like I can't talk about it? And then and I don't, but I had in the past. In this dating world as I'm entering it, I keep meeting men like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Well, no one knows, but who are you hiding from, love? And that's what I realized. The homo-socialized family, the homo-socialized culture, the his and hers, the theirs, but it can't be theirs. You know what I mean? Like only me and him can have this, but they can't have this. This is what runs the world currently as we speak. War is not holy. Okay? Killing people is not holy. So if you can have a holy war, what's unholy. So let's not worry about what we call these large ideas and concepts because again, I just threw that out there just to say that's such a big idea and concept to even think about. No wonder people are arguing confused and they think that they're right. Let's go back to the bases and start with your own simple conditioning. Do you love yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Do you clip your toenails? Because that's where actually loving who you are as a being begins. And when you have so much love and light, you don't have time to be angry, sad, or vindictive. And you really don't even get affected by what people say. You kind of just blow it off like, eh. All right, guys. I love you. This went a little longer than I wanted it to, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that you have to start with loving you. It does not begin with someone else, okay? I love you. Mwah. Besos.